about streaming? Are we streaming?
Susan, don't be difficult. It's recorded.
Yeah, we do have to stream.
I know. You're just. Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay, it looks like it's good.
It's good.
So we're good? Okay.
Like you ain't going on.
So are we streaming? Are we streaming now? Okay. Just so everybody in the viewing audience that we are now live. We've had our prayer and our pledge. We've approved the minutes and the consent agenda, and we're now at the award that the police department got, and we're now recording. We're live, and so Chief Hibbs,
All right,
you're up.
thanks. So start all over. So last week, September 28th, Jacksonville Police Department was awarded recognition as an accredited agency by the Arkansas Law Enforcement Accreditation Program Committee. The Arkansas Law Enforcement Accreditation Program is a voluntary process for police agencies in Arkansas prove their compliance with Arkansas law enforcement's best practices or standards. These standards were carefully developed by the Arkansas law enforcement professionals to assist agencies in the efficient and effective delivery of service and the protection of individuals' rights. There are currently 171 standards that must be met. Being accredited means the agency meets or exceeds all of the identified standards for Arkansas law enforcement agencies. These standards cover all aspects of law enforcement operations, including the use of force, protection of citizens' rights, pursuits, property and evidence management, patrol, and investigative operations. While being accredited does not guarantee an agency will not make a mistake, it does ensure that the agency has carefully thought about these critical issues and has developed policy and procedures to address them and has systems in place to identify and correct problems. There are a number of benefits to becoming an accredited or recognized police agency. Police officers exercise the government's most awesome powers, the power to stop and question a citizen, the power to arrest a citizen, to seize a person or his property, and the power to use force in that process. Officers often operate alone, without direction, without a direct supervision, and police agencies direct and control their officers' activity through supervision, training, and written policies and procedures. Since supervisors cannot always be present, the training and the policies and procedures of an agency are critical to ensuring the proper performance. Appropriate equipment is also necessary. The programs ensure an agency has addressed the most critical law enforcement issues in both policy as well as actual operation. The programs do not tell an agency what their policy must be, but rather it ensures the policy, procedure, and operation addresses all of the critical aspects of an issue. And so we started trying to become a accredited agency, I think, about 2016. Our department went through a lot of turmoil, went through, I think, 5 chiefs, and it has been nearly impossible to do it. So finally last fall, probably about 11 months ago, we made it a priority. I made it a priority, and the commanding staff, which 2 of them are here today, Captain Kim Lett is over CID, Captain Richard Barrett's over support, and Robert Washington, who's the patrol captain, he's at another function tonight. They made it a priority to ensure that we got all of our policies updated, all of the officers read them, and training was done, everything was updated. It was a very long procedure where we have to turn in proofs that all of our reports and our accountability is being done. We can't just say we're doing it, we have to prove that we're doing it. In order to do that, I've had a couple of program managers, and tonight Sergeant Ote became the program manager kind of in the middle of it, but she ensured that we quickly became accredited here recently by the Chiefs of Police Association. Her other jobs include recruiting, hiring, background checks, and one of our most important functions, which is wellness of our officers. We take that very seriously, and we've come a long way. So I think the other thing I was going to say is that since becoming chief, our department has really come together. Our whole department works together, the command staff works together, and we're working as a team, and the result of that is what you see tonight. All right, so we'd like to present this award on our behalf to the entire city.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good job. Thank you, officers, captains. All right, that'll bring us to item B. That's going to be pulled from the agenda due to difficulties with the bid. And that'll move us to item C, ordinance 1705. I entertain a motion to put ordinance 1705 on first reading. Got a motion, a second? Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Golden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye. Ordinance number 1705, an ordinance providing for the creation of a nuisance abatement board for the city of Jacksonville, Arkansas, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Lieutenant Wright, are you come to explain this, please?
Okay. Always got to check them. So what we want to do, we want to create a criminal nuisance abatement board. What that is, it's a quasi-judicial board that is consisting of 5 citizens, one preferably from each ward. The purpose of that is for whenever the police department, code enforcement, or even a regular citizen is having problems dealing with the situation. For instance, you keep getting repeat calls to code violations. Say we have a residence that's causing us a lot of problems as far as criminal activity, gang activity, things like that coming out of it. Once we get, I believe with the health and safety violations, it's 3 convictions, we can bring that to the Criminal Nuisance Abatement Board and request that we have a hearing. At that point, the city can get it, the council or the board can get involved and have a hearing determining if that it is a nuisance and declare that property is a nuisance. They can issue an order, such as if it's a renter, they can order the eviction of that renter. They can impose fines or civil fines for the continuing of the nuisance going on. It's just another step that allows us, before we have to go to a circuit court and actually have a judge order us to go out there and actually remove something from the property and seize somebody's property or something like that. So it gives the citizens a voice. It gives the city a little bit more teeth behind trying to resolve these situations where we have these constant problems where we keep going out there and all we're doing is writing tickets. So,
Would it allow certain places, so we're unable to get it cleaned up, would it allow them to give you the power to go clean it up?
yes, but I believe once we start going to season a bunch of property off someone's stuff, we'll still have to go to circuit court and get a judge's opinion on that.
Okay.
So, but it still gives the city some teeth as far as if they issue an order, say that you need to clean your property up, and then they disobey that order completely, they can get a fine for every day that it has been not cleaned up. So it goes outside, besides what the judge can do, the city can actually impose those fines.
Okay. I have questions. Anybody have questions of Lieutenant Wright?
So I looked over this. Number one, I'll tell you, I'm not really too thrilled about the idea of it being called a criminal nuisance abatement board. Like, just when you add the word criminal to it, you know, it seems like if a bunch of people got together and they all decided to go against one individual, they could actually weaponize this to send them to a, you know, like I said, a criminal deal, to have like the courts and stuff involved. It seems a little much, you know, past, like, I mean, this is way past even a citizen's arrest, you know?
So,
Go ahead.
Lieutenant Wright, sorry.
Go ahead.
This is authorized under Arkansas Code annotated 1454-1701 through 1710. And in order for a citizen to come forward with a complaint, they have to sign an affidavit. They're also sworn under perjury. They can be charged for false swearing, which is a Class A misdemeanor. This isn't something that someone can just come in and complain about their neighbor. It's just like a hearing, basically.
Could I add something to that? We've been doing nuisance abatements here for a while. We have gang houses, houses that are, terrible for a neighborhood. We've had several problems, drug houses, stuff like that. Those are criminal acts. The other type of nuisance is a health and safety nuisance, and that would be overgrown grass, debris in the yard, it causes rodents and stuff like that, so that's health and safety. The other, it may be a little harsh, but there's just another word of saying the other side of health and safety is criminal.
So
It's still a civil matter. It's not taking them to jail.
For instance, if we would have had this when we were abating certain properties, it took us 2 years, 2 to 3 years to get one property completely abated.
Right.
And it was a constant battle. We went out there every day, wrote tickets. We got so bad that the gentleman that we dealt with had a whole docket of his own for citations. Once we had that, we could have went to the nuisance abatement board and said, hey, we need to present this and have this declared a public nuisance. So if the city declares that a nuisance, then we have to go to circuit court for something like that. We've got the city's backing as well. The city's declared it a nuisance, then we take it to the judge and get the abatement order as far as actually seizing their property.
Okay. So it sounds to me like you want to use this for the higher end of the, like I said, the stuff that is considered instead of health and safety. And the only reason that I even brought that up is because like in the section 4, when it talks about the items, like it talks about, keeping the premises clean, like keeping the grass cut, all that stuff. So I was like, I don't want anybody to weaponize because they didn't cut the grass on time or something like that,
Well, there's going to be requirements to it. I have to actually go through for code enforcement to use it that way, I have to issue 3 citations. I have to get convictions on those 3 citations before I can even present it to the board.
Gotcha.
It's not something I can go out there and say, oh, we went out here 4 times with this guy's grass and gave him a notice. He's a nuisance. We can't do that. We have to have document and we have to have convictions on those before code enforcement could actually take it to the Health and Safety Board.
Yeah, and I saw this where it said it was I saw where it was a sworn testimony. I saw where they had that on there. I just didn't know that could be something that could be used against them, like, criminally, like to the criminal abatement
Right.
board. But all right. I mean, those are my concerns. Like anytime you hear the word criminal, like people are automatic. I'm going to report you to the criminal abatement board. I'm going to report you if you don't clean this up or if you don't get your dog out of my yard or whatever. I'm going to report you to the criminal abatement board.
Right. Well,
I mean, it sounds like something
Right,
that
and
could be abused.
And the purpose of the board was usually to deal with gang houses, drug houses, things like that, not just the health and safety. So,
Any other questions?
I have a question over here. So is there, I understand that we're using it for both circumstances, but is there any way that we can amend this to have the title that is in the ordinance, the nuisance abatement board versus a criminal nuisance abatement board? Or is that like in the state statute?
That's in the statute.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve on first reading, suspend the rules, and put on second reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets. Aye. Bolden. Aye. Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray. Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve on second reading, place on third, final reading. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilmember Deets. Aye. Bolden. Aye. Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray. Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve and adopt 1705.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Deets. Aye. Bolden. Aye. Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray. Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, we do have a mercy clause. I'd entertain a motion on mercy clause. Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets. Councilmember Bolden. Levens. Sansing. Ray. Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer. Twitty.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay. All right. So now we're moving on to Resolution 821.
Mayor, I move that we reread resolution 821. Second.
Okay, and this is, so we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Resolution 821, a resolution approving and granting authorization to Mayor Johnson and other City of Jacksonville officials to begin negotiations with Virginia Innovation Partnership Corporation, Planet Defense LLC, and Roki Incorporated to develop an innovation hub in the City of Jacksonville, Arkansas, and for other purposes.
Okay, and this is brought by Councilmember Traylor. It was a meeting that we had, that they had with you on this, and
Right, so what it basically is it's a, you may have heard the term smart city, but this is a group of people, one of them being a former resident of Jacksonville, that they're wanting to do something like in this, in the state of Arkansas. And so him being from Jacksonville, I think he kind of would like to see it here. I think it would be very good for our city to be here. So what the resolution basically is we have met a couple of times, but it needs to be talking to more people. So basically the resolution is introducing it to the city council to give the mayor the opportunity, the fire chief, the police chief the opportunity to talk with these individuals to see what can and will be done. And if you will note in the resolution, though, it does say that before any contracts, it would be brought back to the city council. So.
And the question that was asked, what is it going to cost us?
The hook.
And what's the hook? And the hook is zero. They're going to fund it. We're a test city, so it actually could possibly bring affordable internet all across the city or certain places that it's not affordable today. And so it's one of those things that I guess we're just asking to look into it and have them explain what we're doing.
Us for sure would just be a commitment that as a city we would want this to take place here.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to explore.
Okay.
Move the adoption of resolution 821. So moved.
Got a motion, second, any further discussion? All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, that brings us to resolution 822. And
We read the resolution 822.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Resolution 822, a resolution in support and authorizing execution of documents from the City of Jacksonville to exchange certain real property described herein and for other purposes.
Okay, so, Mr. Oakley, you want to talk about how long we've been trying to get this done and what it's going to mean to the city and to the water department? This is the lots on Gray Street, right? Yeah.
Yes, we've been trying for about 2 years to make this land swap to get with the private owner. There was a duplex on the one at the end of Gray Street. It burned down. It wasn't zoned for a duplex, so we wanted to rebuild. The planning commission would not approve it. So he didn't want to build a single family, so but he kept waiting. And we have 2 lots that we got, one for free from the Abden family over on the north, and one we had to buy a duplex down and tear down on James Drive to make the drainage wider because of flooding of some houses. And we don't need either one of those lots. And these other lots that we're talking about trading for is out there that backs up the splash zone. We desperately need those. It backs to our property. It'd be a good swap.
Where Gray Street ends and kind of gravel goes up towards Splash Zone, they're back in there. And the water company has a water main back there, so it's also going to benefit the water company. They would need an easement for that. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I looked at these lots, and I think it's a great deal. I'm just curious, the gravel road that he's talking about that goes back to that back area, is that road included as well?
That is
Part of
already
that-
city easement.
Yeah, part of that road to the back of those lots that's on Braden has already been platted, so it's a street right away.
The little gravel road that goes back, that was already ours?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a
Just back to the lot line of the houses on Braden. This extends probably another 160 foot.
Yeah.
Like from Braden to Splash Zone?
Yeah.
Braden to Splash
Yeah.
Zone?
But we're
Yeah.
not going to be paving it or anything. We might make a
Yeah, but you still to
sidewalk.
walk through there to go to the ballpark, the little field back. Yeah. Tennis court.
I wanted to make sure that that was definitely included as well, but
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, it is.
because
Yes,
it didn't have a name on it, it just said 6 of 9.
yeah. Those lots actually bump up to that street that doesn't exist. And if he was gonna build back there, he'd have to curb and gutter and sidewalk to build back there, so, yeah. We have lots we don't wanna mow that we're getting something that we need and the water department needs as well, so. I do a motion to approve, 822.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, we've approved 822. Now we're gonna move on.
Will you reread resolution 823?
Okay, got a motion to read, and a motion second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay.
Resolution 823, a resolution approving and granting Mayor Johnson and other officials to enter into the 2023 calendar year proportionate share agreement with the City of Maumelle for proportionate share of 1/2 of the base salary of the State District Court Judge and for other purposes.
Okay, just to clarify, this is just housekeeping. We have to approve the state, our district judge, we share with Maumelle. So this is saying we're gonna share the salary. It's kind of something we just have to do, but we have to do it every year, approve it, so.
I have a question.
Yes,
Why is it that Jacksonville has to pay more than Maumelle?
our docket is larger than their docket. I think she's here.
She's here 3 days, 4 days, sometimes a week with the jail docket. She has traffic Tuesdays, criminal is Wednesdays and Thursdays. I think she's in Maumelle 1 day a week. I may be wrong about that, but I do know that our docket is bigger
Yeah,
than theirs.
our docket's at least twice the size of theirs. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I entertain a motion to approve and adopt.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, I think we got another housekeeping. We have some housekeeping to do tonight.
Will we read resolution 824?
Okay, do I have a second? Got a motion second, read 824. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay.
Resolution 824, a resolution repealing and replacing Resolution 805 in support of and authorizing the execution of sale documents from the City of Jacksonville for certain real property described herein and for other purposes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the persons that are wishing to buy that property to come up, explain what changes have happened and why we're wanting to do it the way we're doing it. And tell us who you are and who you're with.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. I'm Bo Renshaw, owner of Harrison Renshaw Physical Therapy in Jacksonville, DBA Jacksonville Physical Therapy, just right down the street here. And we are excited about looking at some property that we want to get started on, building a building in the medical district over there. We've come to y'all before with a potential purchase price. A lot has changed over the last year and a half with cost. Of this project is skyrocketed like most projects have around this nation, and looking at that, and then also looking at other things like the Entergy easement that we ran into when we started to look at the plat, and found some issues within that restricted building, and so we have actually condensed our 10,000 square foot original Hope down to about 4,000. And so we've come back with that and an appraisal that also lowered the price of that with a new potential price for y'all to consider.
So with that power line easement, you couldn't build the lots you were going to rent, the spaces you were going to rent to
That's
other
right.
people.
That's
Okay.
right. It's
Okay.
yeah, there was an issue there, yeah.
Okay, and this is the land that was given to the city by the hospital board.
What was the issue with the energy? What was that issue?
They have the big power line easements, and you can't build buildings, people are going to be in underneath those power lines.
Right, and so there's two lots, Lot 2 and 3, I believe. We're building on Lot 2. Lot 3 is severely restricted as far as what you can build, the size of the building. You can fit the 4,000 square foot building on the Lot 2 and be clear of that Entergy easement, but it cuts way across the other lot and severely restricts that.
It's good for a parking lot. Or pardon. Okay, Councilmember Blevins.
Okay, so you know that I know this property pretty well. It's probably an understatement. So at the time that you guys were negotiating this with the mayor, this utility easement was already known to you guys. It was already known, like you guys talked about it in your conversation, or at least Brookshire, like CPA, they talked to the mayor about it. This was already there, that utility easement, and I know you can't build directly underneath it, but you know, when you look at the amount of area that was there, like that back portion, it was always going to be there, and all the other businesses that built on that, they're still there, and they have, you know, if you look at an overhead view, it literally cuts right behind all of them, and it goes over parking lots. So I mean, that area could be turned into a parking lot if you wanted to, underneath the power lines. Not telling you your business, you can do whatever you want to do with that. But when we did the initial appraisal, it came back at $475,000. The price that was even quoted to you guys from him was $330,000. And I noticed that you had an appraisal done from Stevens, which is the same person who did another appraisal, and it came back at $202,000. And they're stating that just not being able to build a structure underneath that power line, like cut the price like 60% of what the original appraisal was. Is that
the
is that
original
correct?
appraisal didn't take into account the restriction that is for medical purposes only. It could have been for a Zaxby's or a McDonald's is what that original appraisal was done. It didn't take into the bill of assurance that it could only be for medical use only.
And I'm just,
That bill of assurance is on there, and I don't think you knew the severity of the power line easement until your architect drew it up for you. I mean, this has
Correct.
been a year and a half ago that.
yeah, a year and a half.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I think you found out a lot since then.
We found out a whole lot since then that there's no way we could have known.
No way what? I'm sorry.
No way we could have known.
That,
Years ago, there was different guidelines. The last 3 to 5 years, they've all changed. All your easements and subdivisions everywhere, commercial, if you have overhanging lines, power lines and stuff, you can't mess with them, you can't build on them. It's just the way they changed
you
it.
can't build under them.
Yeah, but
Like you have 100 foot from the middle wire.
100 foot doesn't get it.
Well, I mean, when the lines are already 20 feet across on both sides, you're only looking at 10 feet.
It doesn't matter. They won't let you follow it.
It's 80 feet from the center.
Yeah.
It's 50 feet from the center, because it's 100 foot easement. It's a 100-foot easement, so it's only 50 feet from the center,
Right.
not 80. But yeah, like, again, and we already have other buildings, like, you know, again, Zaxby's is like 37 feet from the center, you know, and the old Dr. Crenshaw is like 42 feet from the center, because, you know, I mean, I looked at all this stuff. I don't like the idea that limitation takes 60% off the value of the item. Again, I'm probably going to be the only one that says that up here, but you know, I mean, it's, yeah, to go from a $300 or $300,000 offer to a $200,000 offer. Yeah, that's my concern.
Okay.
Also, I don't understand, like, we paid $2,000 for an appraisal. They got one for $300. That's a pretty good deal. We probably need to change who we're doing our appraisal through.
We probably are. I didn't order that appraisal.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, I know.
I didn't order the first one.
Say what?
I didn't order the first one.
That appraisal is based on times. If you
Yeah.
got 10 appraisals, then
They're all gonna be different.
it's gonna be more.
well-
You don't have a set rate. It's all negotiable.
Gotcha.
So when I get one.
Councilmember Deeds, I need you on your mic.
Yeah.
They're all negotiable. There's no set price.
No.
You know, you get an appraisal, it's a set price if it's through a government loan, but if it's not, it's a private entity, then they can charge what they want. That's free enterprise. Someone pays it. And the other thing is, you know, Brian, to answer that, we used to build houses or, you know, we got a piece right now, you got 5 acres. You think 5 acres, you can get a septic. You used to be able to put it on a 1 acre, right? But if it doesn't percolate, and you can't run the septic lines on the neighboring property where they allow you to not, so that piece of property is null and void. It's not worth anything. So it's worth what someone's willing to pay at the time to get a property that they can make suitable for what they're going to do. And we really need businesses and places coming to Jacksonville.
I'm not denying that. And also, this isn't residential, this is commercial.
I deal with
Well, it's not even commercial, it's medical only.
Yeah, yeah.
And it'll be nice, the last new building built there was
Yeah.
just next to this one, how many years ago? Was Horizons move over there, 20, 25, I don't know. Yeah, a long time ago. So, I mean, we're glad they're here in town.
Yeah,
We're glad they're
absolutely.
invested in Jacksonville, and this land was given to us, and the 1.6 that we want to put towards the fire station, now we're going to have 1.8. So that's just kind of my take on it. Any council members, have anything else they'd like to say?
I'd like to see this stuff in writing, if we can. I'd like to see the writing portion that shows why this price was so, like,
got
I'd
a
like to
copy
see,
of the
I'd like to see
appraisal?
well, I mean, you just said that the appraisal, like the $475,000 appraisal didn't add in the fact that this was medical only. So, I mean, I'd like to see that was the case.
That the bill of assurance, is there?
I mean, did
The
we
bill of
even see the bill of assurance from
Yeah,
that?
I've seen it before. Now,
Yeah,
have
but
you
we
seen
asked
it?
for it like a year and a half ago, though. Like,
I don't have it on me, but it's, when the hospital board, when it was set up, all of that area was set for medical only. And it's in the bill of assurance on that. When we gave it to the city, we gave the city a bill of assurance with that property when the hospital board gave it to the city.
right, you did tell us that.
Yes.
And I remember that Councilmember Trailer asked to get a copy of that, and we never did.
Okay, Jimmy, do you know where it is? I mean,
I do not.
or Cheryl?
I
Yeah.
don't.
I've seen it.
It was April 15th, if you need to know the day.
I had to check with the court, so I'm sure it's filed.
Yeah,
Bill of assurance will be filed.
April 28th.
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
I move the adoption of resolution 824.
Second. Got a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
We do have one nay. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for investing in Jacksonville. Okay, that brings us to ordinance 1706. And it's housekeeping time again. Yeah.
We read the resolution, ordinance 1706.
Second.
All right, motion second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden. Levens.
Aye.
Sansing. Ray. Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Ordinance 1706, an ordinance to set additional millage tax rates to be established in 2023 for the city of Jacksonville, Arkansas, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Okay, thank you. I entertain a motion to approve 1706 on first
We're not going to
reading.
have discussion.
Yeah, as soon as we get that.
Well, you make a motion.
Okay, we can have discussion, I'm sorry.
Yeah, geez.
Okay, this is the housekeeping that sets the tax rates, that's already been set, that just puts it forward to the tax collector, so we'll get our tax money when
I
the
would-
time comes.
I would like to request that we remove the 1/2 mil and the 1/2 mil that go to the city general fund and the city capital fund, because that was put on there after we lost the millage from the library system. It shouldn't have been on there to begin with. I think we should take it off. I brought this up last time, so I'm going to bring it up again.
Okay,
You put it on there, even though you had a town meeting where everybody said that, you know, you could do it for 2 years, and you said you would take it off, but then you told me that it wasn't written up that way, so you just kept it on there. So I'm going to ask that we amend this and remove that
I
one
never
mil.
had any intentions of sunsetting it, but you can hear what you're saying.
So I would like to make the motion that we amend this and take off that 1 mil for the capital fund and the general approved fund, because it was not something that was voted on by the people.
No. Okay, I don't see a second, so, all
I'll second it.
right. So, with a second, so we roll call, discuss it, okay.
Yes.
All right, all those in favor of removing the 1 mil that goes to the city, that's what we're voting on. Roll call.
Councilmember Deeds. Excuse me? Nay.
Hey, I'm not removed.
Golden.
Nay.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Nay.
Ray.
Nay.
Mashburn.
No.
Trailer.
Nay.
Twitty.
Nay.
Brains.
Aye.
Okay. Now I'd entertain a motion to approve 1706 on first reading and suspend the rule and put on second reading. Okay, got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Golden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Brains.
Aye.
Okay. I entertain a motion to approve on second reading and put on third and final reading.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Golden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Brains.
Aye.
Okay. I entertain a motion to approve and adopt 1706. Motion second. No discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Golden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Brains.
Aye.
Okay. I entertain a motion to adopt the emergency clause.
Second.
Got a motion second. Roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Golden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Brains.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We've adopted that. Moving on to Resolution 825. I'd entertain a motion to read.
1707.
Oh, sorry.
Ordinance 1707.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Okay. Okay. Got a second?
Second.
Got a motion second? All right, roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Golden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Brains.
Aye.
Ordinance 1707, an ordinance to amend Jacksonville Municipal Code 29010 to include attendance requirements for the Advertisement and Promotions Commission for the City of Jacksonville, Arkansas, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Since Councilmember Trailer and Councilmember Ray sit on that, I will ask them to explain what we're doing. One of y'all.
Well, what it all boils down to, there's other committees or commissions that have attendance requirements, and I think it's just never been on the A&P.
Never has, yeah.
And I know for the last 2 months, we've been trying to meet, and we can't get a quorum there. And through several postponements, and it's just time that we put some teeth into making sure people show up or find someone
Right.
that will.
That's right, yeah. I mean, if you're willing to serve on that committee, be there at the meeting and participate like you should. And so I appreciate y'all two always being there. So is there any other discussion? Is it, anybody have any questions of what we're wanting to do? It's basically putting a requirement that you attend so many, and
I
what
think
are
it's
the
the same
10?
requirement that other
So
Like
they
the-
missed 3 consecutive meetings in a row.
Okay, then,
Without being
It's 3 months. So.
Okay. All right, so any further questions? Okay, I didn't hear motion approve and adopt 1707
So moved. Second.
and suspend the rules and put on second reading. That's still motion second. All right, roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Golden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Brains.
Aye.
Okay, I entertain a motion approve on second reading, placed on third and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion the second, any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Golden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray. Ray.
Are you a yes?
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Brains.
Aye.
Okay, I entertain a motion approve and adopt 1707.
Second.
Second, motion second, discussion, roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Golden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Brains.
Aye.
Okay, is this an emergency clause? Yeah, I entertain a motion on emergency clause.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Golden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Ashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, now that brings us to our resolutions. I'd entertain a motion to place, read
Resolution
825.
825.
Second.
I wish we could combine all of them together.
No.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed, nay.
Resolution 825, a resolution adopting the allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for the police department for the city of Jacksonville, Pulaski, Arkansas.
Okay, so let me explain. Last time we had this one big resolution approving it all, so I broke it down into smaller things that didn't, and so that we can pass some of it and get on with our business and get on with what we're doing. So the other things that we may not want to pass, we can hold. But we need to, police has ordered police cars and whatnot. So any questions on this resolution, 825?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve resolution 825. Second.
We got a motion, a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Okay, that motion carried. All right, that'll move us on to
Move that we read
826.
826.
Second.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Resolution 826, a resolution adopting the allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for the Parks and Recreation and IT Department for the city of Jacksonville, Pulaski, Arkansas.
Okay, and this resolution is, I don't have it in front of me.
I have a question.
Yeah. This includes the
Yeah, you
server.
have it listed right here.
Yeah.
I have a question for Kevin, though.
Okay.
I don't know what a pump track is. What's a pump track?
I didn't bring those pictures.
Yeah, he brought them last time. It's a BMX track.
Talk about that, Mayor. You, the one like in Dentonville, the Jones Center?
The bike.
Yeah, your BMX
Oh,
bike.
okay, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know that's what it was
It's the
called.
up and down.
Yeah, I got you. I just
And it
didn't know
includes a bowl for the skateboarders, and aren't you moving our skate park out there by it?
Right.
Right,
Okay. I didn't know that's what
right.
it's called.
So any other questions on this group of, Councilmember Blevins?
So I looked into this, and I've actually called Director House about this. Like, I know that we're needing to spend the money on these ball field lights at Dupree Park and, the pump track and the dugout covers and everything. And this came to around basically almost $2 million. And when I was looking at this, a couple years ago, we had a deal where we got a feasibility study done for the Smash It Sports Complex. That was a third party that was like, hey, look, we found out that was just something they wanted us to build it for them and spend all the money, and then they wanted to take it. But we did the feasibility study, and the feasibility study came back that it was a pretty good idea. So when looking at this, I kind of was under the idea, I know that we're continuing to build up older things. Why not take this money and put it towards actually doing the complex that would have been the Smash It Sports Complex? And actually, we've already done the feasibility study. We've already looked into finding the funding. And not only that, but we have the ability that we could sell the naming rights to this complex to help pay for it. I'm not going to call anybody out, but we could have JoJo's Bank, sports complex.
And that's in the master plan of it, yes.
In the master plan of what?
The sports complex is to name the stadium.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
The Smash It Sports was going to be where?
On Wooten Road.
Kevin, how much business would come into Jacksonville if you held a tournament on Wooten Road?
We would need to build that into town.
I mean, right now, nothing in Jacksonville would benefit.
Well, it's a big empty field.
And
that was.
what's your estimate of what that,
It's too close to the King Mall, it's too close to all
And that was
there.
part of the original plan, Mike, was to build cell lots for hotels, restaurants, that sort of thing. And when
Councilmember Blevins and I, when we spoke on this, and it's probably word for word what I told him. You'll never hear me say we don't need a new sports complex in Jacksonville. My concern is where would the rest of the money come from? When 3 years ago, when we were looking at this, the estimations in were about $1 million a field. Cost has went up dramatically. Majestic Park in Hot Springs, they finished it last year. It's a 5-field complex, cost $9 million.
We're probably looking at a $60 million complex.
It's, you know, if we're talking 10 to 12 fields, you're 25 to 30 million dollars to build this complex.
But I will also say that's not uncommon, and we did take a lot of that into consideration when we got the money to do the $18,000 or whatever it was to do the feasibility study. So I mean, we were already prepared to look at the finding that funding, correct?
Correct. I mean,
Okay.
there was.
And we gave up on it because we found out that it was a deal where they wanted us.
We were sold a bill of goods.
Absolutely.
I mean, they said one thing, contract was totally different, and as soon as we seen it, we were like, no, there's no way, you know.
But the idea that sold you on it is still a feasible idea,
The
especially after
feasibility
we had a
study, the
feasible.
master plan, and the business plan, everything that was done is still there. It's
So-
just finding the
So I'm
funds
saying
to-
why throw this money into that when we could put it towards actually building the complex?
It won't make a dent.
Yeah, that
We need to take care of what we've got right now. We have needs and repairs to the ball fields that need to be taken care of right now. This is would just be a very small pittance about what we need to do the future. Let's take care of what we got now. Let's take care of it now.
And I have worked with the county judge who's looking into doing $15-20 million jump starting the project, which then it becomes feasible. That's the kind of money it's going to take to start this and get it to the size that you'll get the investors in. Yeah, that's a whole year's budget for us. Okay, so any other discussion on this?
I'd like to approve Resolution 826.
All right, we have a second.
Second.
Got a motion second to approve 826. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay. Let's move on now to 827. Under the motion,
read Resolution 827?
Second.
got a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Resolution 827, a resolution adopting the allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for the Public Works, Water, and Wastewater Departments for the city of Jacksonville, Pulaski, Arkansas.
Okay, and if you remember on the last deal and what you have, it's $500,000 to the sewer department, $500,000 to the water department, and $200,000 to Public Works to give the sewer department for the money they spent relocating for Loop Road.
Yep.
Okay, any discussion, any questions on that? Yes.
So when when wastewater and water were talked about this money, they were told that they were going to get $1 million, and they allocated as such, and they did not use any of the ARPA money to give their employees premium pay like the city and everybody else did, because they thought this money was coming in, and they actually even budgeted for it. So I feel that we need to somehow figure out a way to give them their $1 million each that they had already prepped for, because I mean, when you budget for something and you budget $1 million and you find out you're getting half of it, it's kind of a big deal. And I think we need to do that. And if nobody wants to do that, I think we should at least repay them back for the ARPA money they spent to pay their employees with the premium pay that they didn't use out of this money because they thought they were getting $1 million.
And I think that was 40 and 30,000 each one of them.
Yeah, but I mean, instead of taking the cheaper route, I think we should honor the commitment.
Well, it was never a commitment, it was a wish, and before I knew that we were going to have to build a fire station too. Yes, Councilmember Bowden.
When this came out, I took time, I went and talked to each one of the directors to get a feel where they stood. They were satisfied with what they've received. They were expecting more, but they were satisfied with what they received. the directors chose what they wanted. So based on the fact that they chose what they wanted, it should go as written.
Councilmember Blevins.
I think it's fine to say that the directors chose, but when the meeting was called, like, they didn't call them to the meeting.
They were
Like,
not
neither
at
time.
meetings. No, they were not.
They were not called to the meetings, so their voice wasn't heard. And also, there was no need for them to show up because they'd already had a story from the mayor. I mean, what's the bigger voice than that? I mean,
Would be the city council since we're voting on it.
Yeah, I think that,
well,
I can say
absolutely,
what
but I'm
I
just
want.
saying,
And
they
what
came
I
here because
wanted
they were
to
like-
give them was $1 million. It's what I would have liked to have, but that's not how it worked out because we have to spend 2.4 million when we get, when Chad Young brings back his, we'll know better what this fire station is going to cost us. And
They were not they budgeted for it though. I mean, they didn't take it as just a whim. You're like, hey, I'll give you
And I have
$1
talked
million.
with Jake and Thea, and they're okay with it. They would have liked $1 million, but they're okay with $500,000, and that's.
Well, then I move that we
what
at
they
least
told me.
reimburse them for the ARPA money. The premium pay.
Bob, how do you feel about that?
Me,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I mean, I think, Cheryl, isn't there enough, a little bit left over here and there in this that we could put 30,000 and 40,000, what they spent on premium pay, they could turn that in. I feel good about
Well,
that.
I mean, I think it's fair.
I do too.
I'll second the motion on the floor.
Okay, so the motion on the floor to reimburse the sewer department and the water department for the money they spent on the COVID plan that we did for our, okay. So motion, second, any further discussion?
Can I
Yes,
say
sir.
something before you?
Yeah.
Well, we have the two here. Is that okay with you all?
Sure. I mean, it's.
Yeah,
I mean, is it okay we give you a little extra?
What do you really think? I mean,
I just want to be very clear as far as that money's concerned.
Okay.
You know, it was my understanding, and Cheryl
Thea,
may
you're
be able
welcome
to
to
kind
come
of.
too. Thea, if you'd like to come. Go ahead.
Fill y'all in, but it was my understanding, for us, it was, that premium pay total just a little over $30,000. It was my understanding there'd be some administrative things that had to be done for that money to be turned over to us. Quite frankly, the juice really wasn't worth the squeeze for $30,000. We had some money in the budget due to some difficulties hiring staff. We had some money in our payroll budget. We could swing it. The juice really wasn't worth the squeeze to fill out all that paperwork to get $30,000. We thought we'd wait, and when the other funds became available, we felt like they were worth them. We were okay. We were fine. It's not like we were out. I'm certainly not going to turn it away if that's the will of the council, but this was a decision we made, and we were happy with it at the
I'm
time.
good with reimbursing you for your the premium pay that you did for that, to go along with what the city did. I'm very good with that. I got to have the rest of the council good with it.
What Jake said is the way the sewer commission went as well. When we thought we would get the 1 million, we didn't want to do all that was required for just 30,000. We wanted to wait and get the 1 million, so we decided to use our budget funds. The same as Jake, we had not hired people during the year that were budgeted for, so we had the money. And so we were expecting the 1 million, and we did budget for it, but I understand that there are other needs in the city as well, and we're very happy to get 500,000.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So the motion on the table is to reimburse water and sewer for their premium pay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right. So now that brings us back to approve our resolution, our other one, 827, which have a motion and a second. Now, I want a motion and a second.
Adoption of 827.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to adopt 827. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Okay, now we're moving to 828.
Who do we read? Resolution 828?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Resolution 828, a resolution adopting the allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for the fire department for the city of Jacksonville, Pulaski, Arkansas.
Okay, and this is allocating the 1.6 million to the fire department to build a new police station.
Correct.
We actually met.
Fire station.
A new fire station. And we actually met with an architect last week or week before, Chief and Kevin and Jimmy and I and the engineer, and he had some ideas of how to maybe bring this in below 2 million. So I'm hoping to use what we sold that land for tonight to go with this, and a little bit that we have that we'll get and put it and get this fire station underway in a hurry. And so I hope by mid-year next year we're in the fire station. So we're waiting on the drawings from the architect. Okay, so I entered the motion, approve and adopt.
Approve and adopt.
Sorry, I thought we were still.
Okay,
discussing.
okay, you got a question? Okay.
I would like to say, this absolutely needs to be done. Like, we need another fire station over there. I know that we're still trying to get the land. Sorry, I know we're still trying to get the land for it. After going through and looking through the full Forvis plan that was given to us about the finances of the city, like, I feel that we have excess money that we did not allocate for, to where we could just probably go ahead and fund the whole.
We're going to build it.
Fund the whole fire station.
And when we started, we're going to build it.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure, like, this isn't something where I think we should go ahead and just fund the whole deal outright.
Well, and it will be in next year's budget. That's what it will be in. But then we'll know the cost of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying,
Right.
instead of us, one of the concerns last time was the money sitting in there until we found out where the rest of the money was going to come from. After looking at the Forvis count, we have the money, and I think that we should definitely just go ahead and put in there that the intention is to go ahead and spend the money that we have to go ahead and build it, instead of waiting to try to find it somewhere
By
else.
the time we bring the budget to you, we will have a firm price on what that building's going to cost.
Okay.
And I expect to fund the building. Whether we, finish every bedroom and all that, it still remains to be seen, but we're going to let the architect tell us. All right. I didn't take motion to approve and adopt 827.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, that brings us to Resolution 829, right?
We read
Right.
Resolution 829.
Got a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Resolution 829, a resolution adopting the allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for the Parks and Recreation Department for the city of Jacksonville, Pulaski, Arkansas.
So, you notice this one's last, this is the one we had the most discussion on. This is to fund a splash pad downtown, which would also include lights down Main Street, LED lights, because then we would have electricity, and we can put in our own street lights in front of Wendy's, in front of McDonald's, in front of the First Arkansas Bank extra building.
So does this count the lights down Main Street?
Huh?
This price counts the lights down Main Street?
We will put those, we will put LED light posts there. They're not expensive, but we don't have electricity there now, but this will allow us to do that. Now, it won't be changing our street lights. It will be adding additional lights, so Main Street will be brighter. Because you want this park lit up. Go ahead, Kevin.
I put some pictures at y'all stations, and this afternoon I went through quickly, and these are all in the state of Arkansas, all 4 of these. The one that looks like this is in Bentonville. They actually do their ice skating rink downtown in Bentonville at the same location once. They've actually changed it over now. If you pull up Splash Pad in Benton, it's promoting their ice skating rink that's coming up. I just wanted to give you guys an idea. The one at Bentonville is something that my thought was not slides and play areas, more of an architectural look. You've got examples here of Tyndall Parks in Benton, Arkansas. The one is at Dickey Stevens, and then I have a picture of the one as they were constructing it in Hot Springs.
And that's the one that looks like has a mushroom in it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I chose that picture because it actually has a good view of their fencing. That's the type of fencing I have in my mind, just not chain link, just, something ornamental, wrought iron, something very, so even when it's closed, it's still pleasing.
Now, when it's open, you will have a monitor there?
Yes, sir.
And there'll be a gate, and so.
It'll be locked, yeah, it'll be open.
And the water's turned off when.
Be
it's
hours
closed?
of operation, and it will be monitored. You
Be on a
don't,
timer? On a timer?
well, and what most cities have found, you don't have to lifeguard a splash pad, but it's best to have a monitor on staff just to make sure nothing's getting torn up, make sure pumps don't go crazy, none of those problems.
And everybody keeps their
So there
clothes
would be
on.
hours, there would be hours of operation for it, and at close, gates would be locked and shut down.
And the water turned off?
Correct.
Okay. So even if I jump the fence somehow,
Right.
okay, I still. Yes, Councilmember Blevins.
I do have one other concern past everything that I actually was brought up as I started thinking about this. Like, as you know, in the Five Points area, we have this big, huge fountain that was sitting in front of the Chamber of Commerce. And the fountain was going like all the time. It was a pretty big fixture of Jacksonville. I'm pretty sure all you guys have been by there and seen the fountain when it was working, but it hasn't worked in the last couple of years. And because they said there was no money to fix it or it was too expensive to fix, so it's just sat there not working. What happens when the splash pad stops working? Like, is it going to be just another fixture that's sitting out there that
The problem with the fountain at the chamber was the way it was constructed. There's no way to winterize it. I've actually Jimmy and I both have worked on that numerous times. There's no way to winterize. It was not the best design. We would ensure this one was built to not have those same challenges.
And there is a group raising funds to redo that and do it in a manner that it can be winterized.
I have something to say about this, please.
Okay.
Okay, I'm all about a splash pad. I think it's great for the city and everything. I think putting it, the spot that y'all are talking about is absolutely the worst place to put it, on Main Street. It's a parking lot. There's cars. I can't see kids running up and down, and yes, it's fenced in. But again, why are we bringing something new for downtown when we haven't even fixed up downtown? I mean, we have new citizens that come in with the airbase, and when they're directed to go somewhere, if you want to go and you don't know anything, you don't know anybody here, you're going to go to the Chamber of Commerce. So why would we spend this kind of money to put something in a parking lot where there's cars that drive in that park? It's not a dead parking lot. It's very active several times throughout the day. Why would we not take the money and fix our fountain? And it's our responsibility to take care of what we have. That is Chamber of Commerce we should be able to be proud of, and it's an eyesore right now for anybody that looks at that building with the fountain that's been dried up for several years now. Why would we not fix something that we already have before adding something brand new? In my opinion, the worst place ever. Sorry, Kevin, I know you really like this thing. And I love the splash pad.
And like I said the first 2 weeks ago, I think our city needs a splash pad, and
Our city needs a lot of stuff, but a splash pad on Main Street in a parking lot is not where this needs to go, in my opinion. Having a fence around it, the whole idea to me is just, it's crazy. And again, we have a very important building to our city, the Chamber of Commerce, that we should have up and running. It should be fixed. It should not have to sit there. We shouldn't have to go through private people those people help put that in with their money, and we should help fix it. We should fix that up and make it the best. It's the best thing that when you're going down Main Street, it could be a great attraction. We could light it up, like you're saying, Main Street is extremely dark, but not to have that working, it's just a huge, huge eyesore. I get asked about it all the time.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, I know, you probably as well.
And I think I'll Philip Keaton.
Mayor?
Yes.
So I'm going to voice my opinion on it. Mary, I kind of agree with you. I'm not going to say it's the worst place, but I will say I just don't think it's the right place for it. I think there's a place for it, that's not it. I think we need to take care of the things that we already have. the water fountain. I think we need to take care of some of the other issues that we have in the parks. You know, to generate more people coming. It looks like teams are getting out. To me, it's going to be a maintenance nightmare again. Because anytime you have something that has pumps are going out, guys. So you're going to fix them. So they cost money. So down the road, are we going to have the money to fix it? If we're not fixing what we got, I don't see that. You know, when we did, years ago, and we've already fixed it twice. You remember we built a beautiful, convention center with a pool over here. They guaranteed us we weren't going to have any problems. We've had nothing but water problems nonstop, moisture and everything. And same thing with our new, splash pad, splash zone. It's all great. We had all the revenue when we put that in. It was too small. But, there's not any revenue now because of the maintenance it takes to keep it going with all the items when they start going out. And them items go out 5 to 10 years. Pumps don't last like they used to. So I just think the stands down there, the LED lights, and fix that one. I think that's the way to go and keep some of the money back for some other things we need to improve.
Right.
Councilmember Blevins.
Yeah, I also want to state, back when Sue Koo was managing that shopping center, she changed all the color scheme to that teal blue. She eliminated all the lights in the parking lot. There's just these little stumps now, but they still all have electricity going to it. Kevin, have we reached out to Black Horse Commercial or anything to see if they're willing to put some lights into the shop center?
I have not.
And are you planning on bringing the park benches back if this gets built?
There will be somewhere to sit.
There would be seating and shade of some sort.
Are you looking at fencing in that area? Is that something that you've been thinking about?
You would have to fence in the splash.
No, I'm talking about fencing in the wooded area where the benches were at.
Well, it'd be a pavilion.
Yeah, it would just depend on architect's drawings of where the splash pad would lay out.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's electricity over there because they had the lights in the parking lot. So I think that we could utilize that as well to make it lit up if we go that route. But I think it should be lit.
No, I separated Councilmember Bowden.
It's such a great idea to get people to come downtown. However, and I've talked to you about this, I don't agree on the splash pad. Major problem with our downtown, we don't own it. If it was ours, we'd fix it up, we'd take some of the funds and we'd do it the way we wanted to make people come. But the people who own the property, they don't care. And I'm just gonna bluntly say it. Because if you own something, you're gonna try to do things to draw people to the area. We don't own the downtown area, so therefore it's hard to draw people in the area we don't own. So if we put the splash pad there, put the benches there, which I see the benches are gone, and we know why the benches are gone. If you put the benches back along with the splash zone, it's gonna happen again. So people jump fences. Unless that fence is gonna be 11 feet tall, they're gonna jump a fence. If that fence is that little fence that I see on this picture, I'm old and I can jump that fence.
Now, I would entertain a motion to table.
I make a motion, we table this.
And see what plan we come up with in the next meeting or two.
I'll second it.
Okay, so Bishop Bolden made a motion, Rose seconded. We're going to table this and not vote on it tonight. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Hang on. I would like to have some funds to fix the fountain at the chamber.
Whose fountain? Whose fountain?
It's the city.
The city's fountain?
The city owns the fountain?
Yeah.
We do? Okay.
It needs to be fixed. We have the funds to do it.
It was under Public Works for when I started here. Public Works was doing maintenance there. It since a few years later fell under my department. My pool guys were taking care of it, but we were maintaining that fountain with $0 budgeted for it. I mean, we were pulling, just doing the bare minimum.
Can you bring back to us at the next meeting an estimate of what it would take? to
I've
get
got
it
a
out?
close idea, because I've actually had somebody look at it about 3
Again,
months
not a
ago.
Band-Aid, but a fix.
To fix it right, he told me we'd be looking at 100,000.
I thought it was 50.
Money.
I thought it was
It was 50 2 years ago. I actually talked to him recently
Same
again,
guy?
same guy.
Have we got quotes from anybody else?
I haven't, just because we didn't have the funds.
Right.
But I can get quotes to repair it.
And you
But
can
I
bring
don't,
that to us.
I mean, to do it, and that's what I told him, if we're going to do it, it's got to be where we can winterize it, where it can be
It's gotta be done
maintained
right,
and
yeah.
done right.
Lights in it and make it so everybody's proud of what we have downtown. We don't need no go fish, Susan. We don't need no go fish, but we do need some lights and we do need it
So
running.
by our next meeting, could you bring us some
Hopefully,
numbers?
yeah.
some potential numbers?
I'll start working on it next
Okay.
week and. yeah.
And so that's part of this motion, is table it and look at what it's gonna cost to fix the fountain.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
all right. Any other discussion? All those in favor of tabling this and looking at the cost of fixing the fountain, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Okay. Now that brings us to A&P Commission appointment. And
Chairman, I move the appointment of
Jay Patel,
to fill all expired times of
Pendle Shaw. Yeah.
Second.
Got a motion, second. And he bought the Jacksonville Inn. And he also owns the Quality Inn.
Right.
And he said, I will make the meetings, and he's ready to be active in the city. All right, so all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right, so now we have some announcements. Stephen Velosky asked me to thank everybody in the audience that stopped by today, and the council members that stopped by his place today, and to being there. And at least half of y'all were there, and he appreciated that and wanted me to tell you thank you. And
You didn't go, you missed out.
oh yeah, I don't know who won the trip to Vegas.
I don't know. He said he had to go with us, so I didn't even take a box, so.
And my wife said, no, I'm not taking you.
I wouldn't have won the trip to Hawaii.
And also, there's an announcement, CBDG is going to start working towards their homeless, and they're looking for donations of any time or things that people could give. You'd think about doing that to help count the homeless, and she has more information on that she'll bring to us at our next
Here I
meeting.
have some information on that too, October 11th.
Yes.
At 1 o'clock, we're going to be meeting at the Jacksonville Community Center. We're
Benita,
going to have
are you there?
clergy and ministries to come by so she can brief on how we can help.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yes, sir. October 11th.
Okay.
At 1 p.m.
Okay.
I have Benita on the phone if anyone has any questions about CDBG.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a question? Okay. And also, Kevin, when's Trunk or Treat?
Halloween night.
Halloween night. Well, that's an amazing night to have it.
This year-
Are we having our hay maze?
Did you have anything you
Haymaze
wanted to
and
say?
hay rides, games for the kids, everything, yes.
Excuse me.
Okay. And,
Sir,
yes, sir.
since you have one of your directors on here, if she'd like to say something about it, Benita, she's on the phone.
Yeah, she's on.
Okay, Benita.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. We are preparing for our point and count in January, and so the city of Jacksonville is starting to purchase equipment, and so we are asking for anyone to provide donations to that, because we will be purchasing survival bags, so that any homeless person that we come in contact within the city of Jacksonville, we will be giving them a survival bag. And just as a point of note, one of my goals is also to be trying to secure funding with trying to help the homeless population, because I know we don't have any resources. But for this right now, this is what we do every year, and we're just seeking if anyone would like to contribute to that endeavor. Thank you.
Any questions? Or?
I don't know what she said.
Mayor, you got the chamber announcement
The chamber?
for the night.
Oh, yeah. Well, the candidate forum. Mayor candidate forums the 19th at 6, I think, at the community center.
I have a question also for Cheryl. When would we be able to start working on the budget?
That was my question.
This is October and.
Well, we need to know about it.
The departments are already working on their budgets, and actually they were supposed to turn it in this week. I'm going to be out on vacation next week, and as soon as I get back, then I will be reviewing their budgets and compiling everything together, and then we'll start setting up budget meetings and start seeing where we can come
And you
together.
are coming back, right, after vacation? You are
Yeah,
coming back? Okay.
I am coming back.
Okay.
And A&P Commission is going to be meeting on the 17th. That night, they're going to be going over their budget, and so that way, I'll have their information to be able to enter into our budget, too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, is there any other announcement?
Well, I was just gonna, bring up something on the budget, which she did about that, which is good. We need to get together. We seem to run way behind on everything, all the time. When we had this money, we've had it for a long time. Everyone else is spending it all around us. We should have already been allotting this money, knowing what was going on and had a say-so in this. I mean, I just feel like that we're dragging our feet. The money we had, half of it, back in February? Now we got the other, so we got 5.4 million. And we've allotted it now, but it's taken us a long time to allot it. We need to be on top of things. If we're gonna handle city business, we need to do it up front and not be always behind. That's just my take on it.
I'd like to add to that, saying that I wish the city council members would have been invited to sit in any of those budget meetings for the ARPA funds. I think that would have shared a lot of information. I also wish everybody would have been invited to them instead of just some.
That's the past. We can't do
That's what
anything
we got
about it now.
department heads for. Department heads bring all that information to us, that's what they for. I don't have to be chasing them down to make sure they gonna do this and make sure they gonna do this.
Well, when the
Don't bring it
email
back.
when the email goes out, though, the email should have went out to everybody, though, not just certain people, so not just certain directors. When the email went out.
Okay.
I have an announcement. This is the first and third Friday of the month at the Jacksonville Senior Center. They are starting karaoke. It's from 7 to 10. It's free and it's for all ages. So my mom started it and she's very excited. And if you're not there, you're going to miss out. So the first and third, it's karaoke for all ages.
Are
You
that
said that
instead
was
of bingo?
Third Friday?
First and third Friday of every month.
Are they still doing bingo?
Yes. That's on
Oh,
Monday.
that's Friday, but
Yeah,
bingo's
that-
on Monday.
Mondays, yeah.
Y'all keep them seniors busy. Okay, any other announcements we need to make? All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We're adjourned.
Tell us the joke.